thank you everybody for coming to our event for the September session of Social Media Week. We held an event in February on social commerce, which was very well received, so hopefully this one will be as well received. For those of you that don't know me, I am Kay Bayliss and I'm the Executive Director for the Asia Digital Marketing Association, and we are an industry body representing digital marketing across Asia. We really try to educate marketers about using digital. We believe that as the marketers learn more about digital, they'll want to start using it, and they don't know how to do that themselves. So the majority of our members are service providers, and we can give them direction on who they can approach to help them create much more integrated marketing campaigns. Today we have a fantastic panel. I just put my glasses on so I can read their bios. I'm getting old. So moderating us today is Azhar Rafi. Azhar has 20 years of global digital media and publishing business experience and is the founder and CEO of Hong Kong-based interactive media and marketing technology company Vertica Limited. But prior to that, he was the Executive Vice President of Thomson Reuters in New York and then moved through to Hong Kong, where he did that for a few years, didn't you?
Yeah, 4 years.
Then we are joined by the lovely Mark DeLang, who is the head of the digital practice for TNS. And Mark has a presentation just telling us a little bit more about how the SoLoMoCo statistics work and what you can expect to see in the region. He utilises TNS's extensive global studies in digital and mobile needs, behaviours and attitudes, and he has his own experience in digital, so he can help organisations understand how their customers can interact digitally with brands, which again is very useful in the conversations we're having today. Next up is Adam Anger, who's the General Manager for Advertising and Online for Microsoft Greater China Region, a brand that you all know and love. Truly, I do.
We love you too.
He was appointed the General Manager in November 2011 for Greater China and is responsible for the Microsoft consumer online business in mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau and Taiwan, as well as growing their digital advertising revenue across Microsoft's online advertising properties, which includes MSN, Windows Live, Xbox Live, Skype and Bing, amongst many others. So he's got a really interesting perspective for SoLoMoCo that others may not have, especially with the localisation of things. And last but not least, we're very, very happy to have Chad Latz, who's the digital lead for Conan Wolf. Impact Asia, or is that just the Hong Kong side? Conan Wolf.
The whole thing.
Whole. Now, in 2010, he was named PR Week's Top 40 Under 40, which is an annual ranking of the communication industry's 40 most accomplished PR professionals. It includes leaders and emerging stars from the biggest agencies and corporations in the world. So he knows what's going on and has done from an early age.
I'm blushing. No longer under 40 though, regrettably. But we won't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. Now, we only have 3 panellists. We had hoped to have 4. So if there are any brands here in the room that might like to step up and take a seat and join the discussion, I'm more than willing to give you a chair. Anybody? I know Ferragamo's here. Who else is here that might be interested? No? You're all here to learn. Okay, not a problem. So I will pass over to Azhar, who will get things started.
Okay, thank you, Kay. All right, guys, so we were talking about how to do this session today, and I prepared a list of questions to ask our expert panelists here. But as we take a discussion or topic, it'd be interesting if you can participate and give us your set of experiences, or if you don't agree with something, please point that out. So we want to make it as engaging and interactive as possible. So, well, SoLoMo, I still have sometimes difficulty pronouncing it. In Locomo, there was a riff from somebody from Forbes, there was a riff on that as well. But we want to talk about, is it really new? Is it different? Is it the next big thing? Is it now? How do you make money from it? We want to make it from understanding perspective, but we all want to understand how we can apply it here in Asia as well. So I will start with, before we start, I want to have just a couple of questions for you guys so we have an understanding of what the audience breakdown is. Can I get a sort of show of hands by how many people here are from corporate marketing and communication role? People from corporate marketing and communication role. Corporate. Thank you for coming. Okay. People from agencies, advertising, PR, communication. Okay. People from services providers, technology companies, advertising, suppliers, etc. Got it. All right. Thank you. And the next question that I think all of us were interested in that, in terms of your understanding of SoLoMo, how good is it? Is it 1 or is it 10? 10 being the highest. Is it very high, medium, low? All right, so lowish to medium-ish, etc. So we are all in it together. Fantastic. It'll be fun. So the first question I want to start our panelists with is, how do we define SoLoMo, right? So SoLoMo, was it?
SoLoMoCo.
SoLoMoCo. I swear, in an hour and a half when we're done with it, I'll get it together. I feel like Sarah Palin calling it O'Biden. How do we, so what I want to understand from you guys is, as you look at SoLoMoCo, is it pure simple social meet, local meet, mobile meet, commerce, of course? And what's in it, what's not in it? The way I look at it is when I was researching for this, moderating this panel, sort of everything's in it. I want to understand, is the so part or the low part or the mo part has a higher weighting, those kind of things. And anything else that you want to add? Shall we start with you, Mark? Please.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, first, I think it's a great term. It's also a very danceable term. I think, unfortunately, I can't dance, so I can't demonstrate that. But it kind of, once you get it, it's something that sticks in your head. The definition itself, I mean, is different for your, depending on your own perspective. And I really very much think it is if you do anything of these 4, social, mobile, local or location-based, and commerce. Any of those 4 have the potential of building great campaigns. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to combine all 4 of them together, but at least one or several of them will help you develop great campaigns. To me, really, is this new or is this existing? I think what is really trending now is the co part, so the last part, the commerce part. And to me, the opportunities we now have from a technical perspective to combine social, mobile, and location-based are really providing opportunities to move social media to social commerce. So that's to me different. One thing on the low here, before I pass on to Adam's view, I think the low is it's local or it's location-based, and there's actually 2 definitions in there. To some people, there are great opportunities in terms of very micro-local campaigns or applications or opportunities. And in other cases, it's location-based, so it doesn't matter where you are, but these are kind of more directional-based services. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Adam?
Sure. Well, it is a fancy little slogan that that I think it's catching a lot of buzz from a lot of the social sphere. But I think the way I would describe it, I mean, I was in the role of the CMO once at Microsoft as well, and that was quite a few years ago. But when I was in that role, a big focus for us was this concept of when you're planning marketing and marketing campaigns to address an audience, thinking about it from an integrated marketing perspective. I kind of think of SoLoMoCo as integrated marketing in kind of the modern era. the modern era where consumers are mobily connected. There's an expectation that when they're getting information, that it's going to come to them as local and locally relevant. When you do a search, when you're walking down the street and you're looking for a restaurant, you expect technology behind that search to understand that you're where you are and get you to the restaurant's name in your city and in the street that you're located. And also that there's an expectation and a desire to share and get information from friends and acquaintances that you're connected from. And we know from a lot of research, I think Mark's going to share some, we've done some as well, that there is a very strong expectation, especially here in Asia, that socially is the way people would like to get referred to and discover brands and products and services that eventually they're interested in. The commerce piece is also just a way of connecting, I would say. It's part of the integrated campaign, from the brand awareness to creating interest and learning more about a brand or a product, but also then taking it all the way to the opportunity to engage in a purchase cycle. So I kind of think of it as integrated marketing, but just in this modern era where we've got all of these new dynamics that can be tools at the hand of the marketer. So. Okay.
And I certainly want to hear about, how you think Microsoft comes into picture with services, both, the marketing strategy working for your company, either as your previous CMO experience or your view now, or all the services that potentially you provide. But before we go there, Chad, what's your view, at least from what you're hearing in New York and USA?
These are all really great takes on the term. And I've got a slightly different perspective because I come at it from a communications and an earned media and public relations vantage point, where credibility of message is probably one of the most important things that a brand can deliver to consumers. And part of what drives credibility is relevance. And part of what drives relevance is proximity, right? So if you have the ability to understand where I am in space, physically, what my network looks like and who are the other people that are part of my sort of social sphere and social graph, I've got, presumably, the ability to deliver a targeted message that's going to have greater credibility and relevance to me than I might have otherwise. So from our vantage point, this idea of SoLoMoCo, sometimes we're a little bit less concerned with the co, but we want to make sure that there's a relatively low barrier to activate. But from our vantage point, from a communications vantage point, it represents a fantastic opportunity to deliver highly relevant, highly targeted messages to our consumers that really boost the credibility for the brand. So, slightly different vantage point. It's not really about the ability to deliver an ad, but really deliver potentially a brand message. Okay,
I think the core part is really interesting. The digital platform allows us to really close the loop, and what you were calling integrated marketing, or Mark, what you refer to as that you can just do the so part or the low part or the mo part or the whole thing. But I think everybody's excited about the fact that the SoLoMoCo strategy allows us to really integrate a campaign and actually close the loop on a sale, and eventually result in revenues, whether it has through over time through display and branding or immediate point of purchase